Hey guys, Talby here. So mechanical failures are no rarity on a dirt bike. If you're new to it or you've been into it for a while, you will know that you will have some mechanical failures. But some are scarier than others. And I would say that the scariest type of failure for me is stripping out a bolt, whether that's an old drain plug, which could cost you thousands in cases and full rebuilds or engines, if not repaired properly. So all these bolts on these are aluminum, so you do have to be careful, and everything is to a degree delicate. I took this bike in for a valve clearance job at a shop that I had good luck at, but this was just a bad time. I don't know if it was someone new or just inexperienced or what it was, but they cross-threaded my valve cover bolt, and I managed to remove it and put it in about 3 times, 2 times for checking timing or just kneading into the top end of my motor. But it has now gotten to the point where there's no threads left. I even tried the trick with putting copper wire. And a valve cover, it really does not hold much pressure on, so I'm not really worried. I've just got to have something on it that holds some amount of pressure. So
here is what I'm talking about. So there is a bolt here and a bolt here. They're both Allen keys. And these hold on the valve cover. So when that is removed, aha, you will find your cams, timing chain, and all that. And it's these threads. So I've removed one of these. These are just like 10mm bolts or something. I've popped them off. And what you're left with is this, your cam cap. So this is on the exhaust side for me. And as you can see, hopefully, those threads are just demolished. And there's even an aluminum flake of the threads. You kind of see it hanging on my finger there. So the strategy that we're going to be employing to fix this is going to be a Helicoil. And I didn't buy name brand Helicoil. So what a Helicoil does, you can see I've got it wrapped around this bolt, is basically a coil of steel wire that we're going to tap into the threads, and then this is the thread pitch and size of the bolt. To find that, because there's a good chance your bike might be different, what you do is you take one of your valve cover bolts and go to a hardware store that has one of those checkers, or you can even get a thread pitch and size checker from I think a lot of AutoZones and stuff sell them. But I like to go to like a hardware store, thread it in there, and that'll tell you it's like 4mm 1.25 thread pitch or something. And then you look up online that Helicoil and just order that Helicoil with the size of the bolt, because that will be for what it threads into, the female. So what it's gonna come with is gonna be, and make sure it comes with this, is a drill bit and the appropriate size tap. Will be bigger than the size of your bolt, because that is gonna tap it large enough that the Helicoil goes into that metal. So just know, yes, it will be a different size. One thing mine did not come with is there's a tool, kind of looks like a screwdriver with a fork on the end of it, and that goes over this little thing right there, that little tail, and you twist it in and then hit it with a hammer and punch the little tail off. Mine for some reason didn't come with that, but I'm probably gonna take an old flathead screwdriver and take a grinder disc and cut back a ridge into it. I think I can make one. So I've got the bit that we got that come with the kit loaded into a drill press. You can do this by hand, but I would recommend, if you have access to a drill press, this is going to be a more even level surface. Another thing we want to do is make sure speed is low. You can tell it's very fast right now because I was doing using it basically like a buffer. So we're going to twist on this. I was talking to you earlier. Here is a thread pitch checker. Now, I don't mess with taps or anything like this very often, but I know there is a trick to getting these in more straight using a drill press. You line it up and you put it in straight with the drill press. And I think we're gonna just, I'm gonna have to use my face, twist it in a little with the press. actually working very well. There's some resistance, so we're gonna and that started our threads. And normally you back a tap out, put it back in, but where this hole has everywhere in the world to put the shavings, and it's aluminum, we're not gonna oil this or do anything really to it. Okay, we're just about through. There we go, we got a through tap there. See the shavings. Kind of see what we're doing. Making threads, making threads. If you've never done it, there's something very rewarding about coming up with your own solution to things, even if it might not be as good as the one you would buy from a manufactured store. There's something about just making your own little tool. So, as you can see now, we've got the helicoil, and this is gonna go down in it. It's gonna grab that tail on the bottom, and we're gonna be able to twist it in. So, we didn't have the tool, now we got the tool. I am worried that this helicoil is going to be too long, and I don't know exactly what you do in that situation. Ooh, no it's not. And I know we want it a couple threads down. It's getting tight. But it's that like little bit up under it. Back in the threads like it's supposed to be. I really hope you can see this. It's a little bit in there. So I'm gonna say that's right. So we want to go in there, clip the tail on like that. Strike that with a hammer. And that has broken off the tail, as you can see right there. But there's threads, and let's take a look. Look at that. This just shows don't worry, guys. There we go. We're gonna clean this up, and this piece is repaired. So we now have our cam cap cleaned up and installed and torqued down the spec. So the only thing left for us to do is, let's see how this valve cover does now. And it threads in just fine, but that's a surprise to no one. This one is our new shiny bolt and a new seal that I got on Motorsport. You just go on your OEM section, go to engine valve cover, and you'll find it. And it just slid right in. And these do not need a lot of torque. You are literally just sealing down this cover. So don't even turn it sideways into the torque mode. Just have it up snug. This one's a little nerve-wracking, but it shouldn't be. These threads should honestly be stronger than the aluminum ones. Well, that is gonna do it. This should now be a running RMZ again. And I feel like this is a problem that a lot of people have faced, as, you know, cross-threading the bolts really easy. And I didn't see anything out there for particularly the valve cover, which I feel like could be a, like if you're just getting into like learning to check your valves and something, that's something you could really run into as a beginner. And I don't want anybody messing the rig up and then being very nervous about how to fix it. So I hope this video was truly made you confident that you go out and fix it. And just, I mean, you can see I'm in nothing fancy. I'm just in my garage doing it. So, you know, if I can sit out here and do it, you can sit out there and do it. So go online. Like I said, get your bolt, bring it to a hardware store, get that pitch or use that little pitch tool I showed you. And yeah, you can do a lot with that. Like even if you take a look here on my master cylinder, these screws were stripped, and I went and I bought tapered screws from the hardware store, ran a nut up on them, used a micrometer to measure them, or just measuring tape, whatever. And I cut them to size and put me new bolts in there. I didn't even have to buy them factory from Suzuki. Now these bolts, they're very strange bolts, and they got a seal on them. You're not gonna find those at a hardware store. You're gonna have to order your OEM. You're gonna have to order your OEM spec. And again, the way you do this, if you're not familiar, I'm not associated, but go to motorsport.com, go to shop OEM, and then you're gonna see a large part list. It'll either be under, it'll say valve cover, or I think it says engine, and then go to valve cover, and there should be like 4 parts in it, or 5. It's the seal, which is that little rubber gasket. There's the valve cover itself, which is the metal dish, and then there's the bolt, and there's the seal, and that is all that's in the valve cover on a race bike. So nice and simple. So share this around. I really hope this fixed your small issue that you probably thought no one else had ever had before. They have. It's not that bad. So share it with a friend if you want to help me out, and I thank you so much for watching. Goodbye.